Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Isyara Madani. You can call me Caca. In this opportunity, I will explain about a Likert scale. What is Likert scale? The meaning of the Likert scale, the analyze from Likert scale, and what is the example from the Likert scale. The first is definition from a Likert scale. Likert scale is a rating scale often found on survey forms that measure how people feel about something. And the Likert scale is 5 or 7 point scale, which is used to allow individuals to express how much they agree or disagree with a particular statement. The response categories in the Likert scale have a rank order, but the intervals between values cannot be presumed equal. A Likert scale assumes that the strength or intensity of an attitude is linear on a continuum from strongly agree to strongly disagree and makes the assumption that attitude can be measured. Each of these questions would then have a set number of responses for people to choose from respectively. The first strongly disagree, disagree, neither agree or agree, strongly agree, and highly dissatisfied and dissatisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, highly satisfied, like never, almost never, neutral, almost every time and every time. But wait, in Likert scale have example for surveys, and in addition to measuring statement of agreement, Likert scale can measure other variations such as frequency, quality, importance, and likelihood. For example, in statement agreement like strongly agree, agree, undecided, disagree, strongly disagree, and for importance like very important, important, moderately important, slightly important, and unimportant. For example, in frequency such as always, often, sometimes, rarely, never. And example from quality such as excellent, good, fire, poor, very poor, and like likelihood. For example, almost always true, usually true, occasionally true, usually not true, almost never true, or definitely, probably, possibly, probably no, definitely no. This is for complete Likert scale example. And how can you analyze data from Likert scale? The response categories in Likert scale have a rank order, but the interval between values cannot be presumed equal. Uh, I uh, I was explained in the first slide. But in the Likert scale have the statistic you can use, like summarize using a median or mode, not a mean as it is ordinal scale data, but the mode is probably the most suitable for easy interpretation and display the distribution of observation in a bar chart. It can be a histogram because the data is not continuous. And this Likert scale have a strength. Likert scale have a the advantage that they do not expect a simple yes or no answer from the respondent, but rather allow for degrees of opinion and even no opinion at all. Therefore, quantitative data is obtained, which means that the data can be analyzed with relative ease, and offering anonymity on self-administered questionnaires should further reduce social pressure and thus may likewise reduce social desirability bias. This
Ways,
is example
sometimes
from
often.
a Likert
But for the
scale
benefit of this
definition
video, I am
or
going to use this
interpretative in
category.
the Likert scale. Simak the
After
video.
having the category,
Now, let us type for the range. Okay, for you to compute for the range, since we have 5 Likert scale, simply subtract the highest Likert scale to the lowest scale. For example, 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. Then divide 4 to the given number of Likert scale. For example, 4 divided by 5 is equals to 0.8. Now get the lowest Likert scale, which is 1. So 1 and then add to 0.8, that would be 1.8. Now we can write for the range for our Likert scale 1. So our range is 1 to 1.8. Now to get the next range, all you have to do is to add the last range, which is 1.8 to 0.8. For example, 1.8 plus 0.8 equals to zero point 0.6. Let us write for our next range. All you have to do is to add zero point 0.1 to our last range. So 1.8 plus zero point 0.1, that would be 1.9 to 2.6. For our Likert scale 3, so copy the last range and then add to 0.8. For example, 2.6 plus 0.8 equals 3.4. Then, copy again the last range, which is 2.6, then add to 0.1, that would be 2.7. So our range for Likert scale 3 is 2.7 to 3.4. Then, continue to add the last range to 0.8. So, 3.4 plus 0.8 is equals to 4.2. Then, copy again the last range, which is 3.4. Then, add 0.1. That would be 3.5. So, our range for Likert scale 4 is 3.5 to 4.2. For Likert scale 5, again, copy the last range, which is 4.2, then add to 0.8, so that would be 5. Then copy again the last range, which is 4.2, add to 0.1, that would be 4.3. So our range for Likert scale 5 is 4.3 to 5. Then add 2 decimal points for your range to make it presentable. So our range to Likert scale 1 is 1.00 to 1.80. Then for Likert scale 2, our range is 1.90 to 2.60. Then for Likert scale 3, our range is 2.70 to 3.40. Then for Likert scale 4, our range is 3.50 to 4.20. Then for Likert scale 5, our range is 4.30 to 5. Let us write the interpretation based on your respondents' responses. For example, your respondents is 5. Then you have question 1 to 5. Compute first for the average for question 1. For example, let us have a formula equal sum, then select the cell for question 1, respondent 1 to respondent 5. So it depends upon how many respondents answered to your questionnaire. So for this example, I have 5 respondents, so that is why it is divided by